Hello, welcome to my show. I'm the animator's friend, India Lombardi-Bello. Thanks for taking the time to listen today. I went into Zoom call mode when I'm talking to somebody. I'm always like, thanks for taking the time to meet with me today. Very excited to have on my friends Michael Dondero and Shengnan Dong. They both got into ANSI this year. I'm so proud. Their thesis film from the MFA Computer Arts department at SVA, where I work, Nostril, was programmed into the WTF block. And it's such a huge accomplishment. We'll get into, the specialness of it all in the episode, but it's just special even on its own. I mean, it's the most prestigious festival that there is. So really excited for them. Michael was my student in MFA Computer Arts, and Shay was my student worker. So I know them both quite well, and, we stay in touch. And Michael's been a huge supporter of the podcast as well, so it's nice to have him on too. I mentioned this in a previous episode, but, I'm going to be going to ANSI to help support them. So if you're going to ANSI, feel free to reach out. I'd love to meet you. I'd love to introduce you to my buddies here, and definitely go to the WTF block. There's several showings of it, but I think the big one is on Wednesday night. It's late at night because it is like a midnight screening. Ticketing opens on June 3rd. I don't know how many of you that are listening haven't been to ANSI and are going to ANSI. The ticketing system is competitive. On June 3rd, it opens at 3 p.m. French time. So whatever your time zone is where you're booking, you should log in and start booking your tickets and prioritizing the things that you most want to go to, that you also feel like are going to be the most competitive to get into, because things do sell out. So it's my advice to you. June 3rd, 3 p.m. French time, log in and right away get your ticket for the WTF block on Wednesday night. And if you can't do Wednesday night, I think it's on maybe Tuesday night and Thursday night as well. So hope to see you there. Something different that also happened this episode is that there was a ghost in the room. You may hear every once in a while a little purring sound. There was a cat ghost in the room with us. It 100% wasn't any kind of technical issue with my equipment, with my microphones or my Zoom recorder. It was a ghost. So please be respectful of our little cat ghost when you hear it. It's fitting for this episode because Nostril is also a pretty spooky movie. So let's float into our conversation with my two friends, Michael and Shay. Hi, friends.
Hello. Hi, India.
Do you want to maybe just talk about your film a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. So our film is called Nostril. It's a 4.5 minute long stop motion animated short about a sleep deprived woman named Lala who is kept awake by her husband snoring. Eventually it becomes so powerful that it sucks her into his nose, and then she has to battle her way out. So it's like a fun, kind of lighthearted but little dark fantasy about relationship struggles, and there's a lot of allusions to old horror films.
Speak about the styles. It's a really different kind of style of stop motion, I would say, because all the puppets are 3D printed, and then we trying to have a stylized style, and so we combine different techniques about how to fabricate the film.
I also think stylistically a good sort of middle way between both of our styles. So we were co-creators of the film and basically started from really, really loose crayon sketches that I would do, which I just filled up a sketchbook the summer before we started making it with just anything that could possibly be experienced inside of a nose. So we were just coming up with creatures, and they were really loose. I would just do crayon and a little bit of ink. And then Shay took these and made like much more fleshed out concept art that really like solidified the visual look of the film and sort of like put her own aesthetic onto it that really like what you see on the screen is really like a good combination, I think, of both of our tastes. So we've been doing a festival run since last summer, but we're very excited that this June we'll be screening in the Annecy Festival in Annecy, France, as part of the midnight special WTF block, which I don't remember if I went to it last time I was there. I feel like I went to some midnight special screenings, but I hear the WTF block is like a rowdy and fun one to be in. So we're more than honored to be included in it.
Yeah, I think it's on brand.
So excited. Also, it's my first time going to France. So yeah.
Yeah. And we're going to be roommates.
Yeah. If you're at Annecy, party at our Airbnb.
Yeah. It's my birthday, actually.
Ooh,
so
open invite to anybody at the Annecy Festival.
And for you, Michael, this is your second time going. The first time you went just to go, more or less. And it's like, it's full circle for you.
So that was the summer going into what would have been me and Shay's thesis year at MFA Computer Arts at SVA. And I hadn't yet had an idea for a thesis film. Shay and I knew we wanted to work together.
Oh, you knew before?
Well, it was sort of like Shay came to me. She approached me in the lab and said, "Correct me if I'm."
Jasper might say she accosted you in the hallway.
No, she came up to me in the lab and just said, she was like, "Michael, I was thinking about doing stop motion puppets for a thesis film. Is that something you'd want to work together on?" And she basically said, like, "I don't want to animate and I just want to make these puppets." And I was like, not a great puppet maker. And I want to animate. So it was like, well, do you have a thesis idea yet? And she was like, not really. And I was like, I don't either. So we kind of decided, let's each like develop ideas on our own. And if one of us comes up to the other one with an idea and we're both excited about it, then let's work together. So I was just brainstorming like all summer, trying to come up with ideas. And I like filled up a document of like, I think it's like 50 pages. I would just like kind of free associate, write every day, trying to come up with an idea. And then I was doing that while at Annecy, and everything I was trying to think of was like about an individual. It was like a boy who loves horror movies, and we're like, I don't know, like a single person's like journey and a single, like not single, like not in a relationship, but just one person individual struggle or something.
A hero's journey.
Yeah. Or like, it was just very like, I don't know, inward thinking and not thinking about more than beyond just like myself in a way. And then it was kind of triggered by this short, and this is sort of stepping on a later question you're going to give me, but
That's okay.
this short called Drift by this Belgian filmmaker, Levi Stoops, that we saw at Annecy. It was one of the official selections that year. And it was about a couple stranded on a log in the middle of the ocean. And it was hilarious and just like a great depiction of being in a relationship. And that sort of like triggered in me like, oh, haven't been thinking about things beyond myself. Like I've been thinking about the people in my life and relationships in my life and like the dynamics of those things. And at that time, a big issue in my relationship was that I was an awful snorer. I mean, I have been my whole life, but it was really affecting my partner's sleep. So it was like literally walking around the streets of Annecy when that idea kind of came to me that like, wouldn't it be funny if I snored so bad it sucked my girlfriend into my nose?
Yeah.
And I think I told her like later that day, and then I told you. You were probably the second person to hear about it. And then I think I emailed Shay while I was there.
Wow.
Yeah, like the first time I heard this story, I was like, oh my God, it's such a brilliant idea.
Yes.
Sounds really exciting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. 1, what's your morning routine?
So I'm really bad at waking up or getting up. So like if I have to work, I need to set up like at least 5 timers or clock to wake me up at least an hour before I need to wake up. So, but I still falling asleep. So yeah, so it's really just hard for me to get up. But so which make my off work day really more, I just want a lazy day, you know, like, so I will never set up a clock and then just like wake up naturally and then stay on my bed for at least 1 more hour and then wake up and had a lunch, not a breakfast. Yeah, I can never wake up that early. Yeah, and then chill a little bit and then do some things I am interested, like drawing or watch some TVs, yeah, stuff like that.
So in an ideal world, like what are your like waking hours?
11 to 2.
I'm kind of very different than that. I am very much a morning person. So now that I have like more of a steady routine after being in grad school and years of working in like the film industry and having odd hours, it's pretty routine now. And I get up at like 5:45, 6. Well, I start work at 10 and I need like some morning time. I need like a slow morning where I get like a lot. I can't just like run out the door. I work out from 6 to like 7. And then it's shower, and then breakfast with like a book, or read the news, do Wordle, and that's like a long, chill morning where I'm just like hanging out, like kind of being able to feel like I'm like doing something before I go to work, and then I make lunch, pack it up, and then head in.
So is that 2 or 3 hours?
It's like 3 hours before I have to leave for work.
OMG.
And I used to be like, I could stay up really late. I don't really like sleeping. Like, I don't really like look forward to it. And I'm like, I used to be like, try to stay up as long as possible to like get the most into the day, and then wake up as early as possible to like get the most into the day. Now I'm a little more like, okay, I should prioritize sleep a little bit, but I still only need like 6 or 7 hours. And I don't like staying in bed. I can't do that. Like, I can't sleep until 11.
Your wake up time is my bedtime for sure.
I just like cannot wake up and lay in bed, and like I like once I'm awake, I'm like, let's go.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. 2, what's your sign?
I'm a Pisces.
Pisces. Do you feel like a Pisces?
A little bit, yeah. Like I feel like I'm kind of like really emotional. Yeah. And also I feel like Pisces is like more listen than speaking. So I'm really good at listen to people's thoughts other than expressing myself a little bit. Yeah. I think that for that point, yeah, I'm definitely a Pisces.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Michael?
I'm a Libra. And yeah, I mean, when I read about characteristics of a Libra, I feel like I have a lot of those characteristics. Like, I think I'm a pretty fair person, or like it's fairness tied in with like avoiding conflict, I guess. Just because I feel like I'm just like want everyone to be on the same page, or everyone to be happy. So I'm like, oh, I see both sides. I know, but I think with like, isn't the symbol the
scale?
The scale. Like, I feel like I have a good sense of justice.
Yeah, you know? I see that.
I don't think I'd be a good lawyer, but I think I'd be a good judge.
You need to be a lawyer to be a judge.
I know. I wish there was a way to
just be a judge.
Yeah.
Have you done jury duty?
Yeah, I was a foreman on a jury.
You were?
I got in a jury. It was actually a great experience. You always hear bad experiences about it, but I was like, got jury duty in Brooklyn. Went in. They like brought us all into a room. I made them, both lawyers, laugh, and then they were, I think maybe that's why they picked me. They were like, oh, that guy could be fun. I went in at 9. By like 12, they picked us, and they were like, you just have to come back the next day. And I was like, okay, I'm going to miss another day at work. And then I went back the next day. We had the trial from like 9 to 12. It was like a civil suit. A guy was suing someone for hitting him with his car. We didn't think he had a good argument. We deliberated for like 10 minutes. Not even. We all walked into the room and we were like, nah, that guy doesn't have a good case. And then we came in and I got to deliver the verdict. And I was like, not guilty.
So who picked, like, don't you have to get picked to be foreman? Like, doesn't everybody have to be like, you're responsible?
Yeah.
Like, you're the most responsible out of all of us?
It honestly might have just been where I sat. Like, I don't remember how that happened. Like, they didn't like sit around and they were like, we think Michael should be he's that Libra over there with that strong sense of fairness.
That Libra energy. He's the foreman.
I don't remember how it happened, but it wasn't like a murder trial. It wasn't.
Yeah, sure,
I mean?
but
Like,
still.
This was, a very simple civil suit.
Okay. 3, what's your favorite sandwich?
My favorite sandwich is like not one I ever eat because I don't eat meat.
Right.
But it would probably be something like an Italian hoagie or a breakfast sandwich with scrapple, which is a very Pennsylvania breakfast meat. But I feel like the sandwich my go-to sandwich, because it's like one of the few things I get at delis, is like a tuna salad.
For me, I want to say is Popeyes classic
Oh,
chicken sandwich. That one's so good.
I think this is
Yeah.
the first name brand sandwich.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. Like especially it's like fresh cooked. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like hard
Mm.
and crispy and juicy. It's like so good.
Is that your favorite fast food place?
Nope. Subway.
What?
Yeah.
Shay.
I guess I don't consider that fast food, even though it technically is. But
I don't know, like when like I was like working in Shanghai for about half year, and then like every time at night I was like, oh my god, I want a Subway, and then I search online, like there's no Subway place in Shanghai.
Yeah.
I was like, damn it.
Yeah.
And then like after I was going to apply for visa in a different city, and then in the airport there is a Subway station. Subway, and then I finally got my Subways in China. Yeah, so I don't know, like I just miss it so much. Yeah, I don't know what is so good, but like
I don't know either, Shay.
I had a roommate that worked at a Subway that was like 2 blocks away from me, and he would literally make the sandwich. We'd get up to the register, and he'd be like, "There you go, sir. We're all squared away." He would just hand me sandwiches for free. I think he got busted eventually. 'Cause he was giving. We had like 8 roommates in this house, and he would give all of us free sandwiches. Anyway, I just ate it all the time, and now I like rarely go to Subway unless it's like an emergency or
Yeah, no.
emergency Subway visit.
Emergency. What do you like to get from Subway?
Basically every topping. So I probably will get like beef, and then maybe like jack pepper cheese, and then all the toppings.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also want to know where you land on the Chick-fil-A. I mean, I guess we know where you land, but like
Popeyes.
but like have you done a comparison? Like, how would you say the differences between the two?
Okay, so first of all, I think Chick-fil-A is really expensive, so I can't afford it.
Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, it's like so expensive.
Really?
Yeah, for a sandwich. Yeah.
Huh.
And then, I think like for KFC, they also have like similar kind of like chicken sandwich.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know, like for here, I feel like in China, like chicken sandwich is like so normal. Yeah. And then like in KFC, like the KFC and McDonald's, I think they have like really good chicken sandwich. But like here, we don't have that much options. I think like when the chicken sandwich in KFC came out, it's going viral for all the international Chinese students. Yeah. So I think I just love chicken sandwich, and then I feel like I didn't see that much KFCs here.
Yeah.
So I didn't had any chicken sandwich from KFC. So I don't know about that, but but
I can't speak to that.
Yeah. Wait, you haven't even said the best chicken sandwich.
What do you mean?
Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich.
Oh gosh.
That was like my go-to growing up. Did you ever have that?
No.
But like, I feel like Wendy's doesn't have. It's not like chicken breast. It's like it's like a giant chicken nugget. It's like
Yeah, it was so good.
disgusting. No.
That Wendy's would be my favorite fast food place, and I don't really ever get it anymore. But like that spicy chicken sandwich was something I ate so much growing up.
You guys are killing me.
I went to Wendy's a lot of time, but like they don't really have chicken sandwich in the menu right now.
Really? That was
Yeah.
their classic. It was that.
I don't
and
know,
the,
I
and
only
the
see
JBC,
beef
the
ones.
Junior Bacon Cheeseburger.
Thanks for opening up the door to fast food. That was exciting. Okay. 4. What's a song that you wish was written about you?
That is, I struggled with this one because I never have had that thought. I've never heard a song and been like, I wish this was.
Oh, I
the best.
think about that all the
Really? You know what? I hear songs all the time and wish I wrote them.
Okay.
And like to the point where like in high school, I would play them in front of a mirror thinking like, oh, what if I wrote this Bob Dylan song? But I never.
What would it be like if I had written this song? How would my life be? Yeah.
My life would be so much different if I just pulled out Don't Think Twice, It's All Right one day. Yeah, I've never really thought about this. And the first answer I could think of, and this is so lame, but it was the Indiana Jones theme. Like, because like, how amazing would that be if someone was like, "Hey, I wrote something for you," and it was like this orchestral triumphant song. Dun, 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 dun. That'd be amazing. I don't know. What did you think?
I really don't have an answer for that. I don't know, like personally, I don't really listen to music that much.
You don't?
Yeah. So yeah. So like every time I listen to some music, it's like I hear it somewhere and I was like, oh my god, this is fun, and then I will save on my album,
Mhm.
and then I probably don't know their names.
Mm,
Yeah.
mhm. I get that.
Mm. I dug a little deeper in while I was thinking about this. I was like, oh, what would I want someone to sing to me? Just serenade me with. There's a Lucinda Williams song, Sharp Cutting Wings. It's
Oh,
like
yeah,
one of
yeah.
her early albums. Such a sweet song.
Yeah, it is really
Um,
sweet.
So maybe like that,
Mm-hmm. It's a good one.
but Indiana Jones first, then that.
What's a song that you wish you would have written?
Oh, like hundreds of songs.
What's like
oh,
first one that comes to mind?
a quick one while he's away about the Who.
Oh, okay.
I used to I was obsessed with that song in high school, and like there's a performance of the Who playing that at the Rock and Roll Circus in like 1968,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like it was like this concert that the Rolling Stones put on inside a circus tent. And
Oh yeah,
yeah, like,
yeah.
The Stones play a bunch of songs, and John Lennon and Yoko Ono play, and it's Yoko does her like kind of screaming thing. And who else plays? Jethro Tull. Anyway, all these bands play, and I feel like the story I heard at the time was like the Stones kind of got upstaged by the Who, so they didn't want to put it out for many years. And the Who's performance is like the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like not just the song itself, but their performance and then the way it was edited. It's so cool. And I just used to like fantasize about playing that at like a high school battle of the bands and everyone being like, "You wrote that?" And like I would just. I'm not kidding. I used to play guitar in front of the mirror so much as a teenager. Like just imagining myself writing these songs that basically the plot of Yesterday.
Yeah. 5. What's a trend you don't want to see come back?
I'm not sure if you know, there like few years ago, there is like McDonald's released a new hot sauce called Sichuan hot sauce.
What was it? What was it called?
Sorry,
It's called
right back to
like
fast food.
yeah. It's called like Sichuan hot sauce, so it's kind of like a Chinese hot sauce. And then I don't know why, just people just love it so much, and then they put their sauce on eBay and sell it for like $100. I was like,
bad.
what? I don't understand that. Yeah, but people really loved it.
Yeah.
I never tried it, but I don't understand.
You're just like, I don't need to try it. Not interested.
Somehow it's become to a trend, like people just like desperate to trying the sauce.
That's silly.
Yeah.
Well, I could. All right, so mine. I had one word that I wrote down because I was trying to think of something like fun and playful, but the first thing that came to mind was religion.
Oh,
just because it is kind of like seemingly coming back, and it felt like it was like kind of going away for a little bit, or people were like at least respecting science over religion or were trending that way. Now it seems like religion's sort of like numbers are going back up, at least here in the States. Not that all religion's bad or anything. I think we should move more towards science-informed decision making.
Yeah. I don't think they have to be like mutually exclusive.
No, but I think it tends to happen that people start to disregard the science if it doesn't fit with the whatever narrative they want to adhere to. I don't know. But no, I want to make clear, I think there are very good people, religious people in the world, people in my family included. Sorry, back to hot sauce. I don't have to bum this out.
Okay. 6. What's the last movie you saw in a theater?
Is the Minecraft movie.
Really?
Yes.
How was it?
It's really fun, actually. Yeah, because like growing up, I was playing Minecraft a lot, and also people streaming online. So yeah, and then haven't played it for a while, and then see this movie came out. I was like, oh my god, this is so cool! I even got the McDonald's. Kids.
Gosh.
Sorry, I'm a big fan.
Yeah. Animator's Friend brought to you by McDonald's.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I got McDonald's.
Well, also, actually, like, I don't know. Do you feel like, because I'm thinking about like you and like, 3D design and like toys and stuff like that. Was that like something growing up that like the toys at McDonald's like ignited your interest?
Well, yes, I feel like definitely influenced me a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so jealous. When I was a kid, I'm so jealous about my classmates who has the entire collection of
Yeah.
McDonald's kids, toys.
Mhm.
But yeah, my parents won't let me eat McDonald's that much, so I only have partial of it. So I was like, oh my god, I want all of them. Yeah.
And you're like, now I'm a grown ass woman. I can
Yeah.
get all of the toys.
Yeah, but I'm not that obsessed about it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just I have one. That's enough.
Says the person who's brought up McDonald's for almost
The
every
last three
single question.
I like Popeyes at KFC as well.
And Popeyes doesn't have any toys.
Yeah, Popeyes. I want the chicken sandwich toy.
Aw, they should make a toy.
Yeah.
I would get that.
They have. I mean, if they could collab with Popeye, the actual Popeye.
Yes, yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love a little Popeye.
My last movie, I thought about going to the movies to see something like cooler to say, like last night, but no, it was Thunderbolts, the new Marvel movie, which is the
is that the one with no, I'm just like I'm so like lost.
So this
with
is the
the Marvel
first Marvel movie I've
universe.
seen since maybe like Spider-Man, the most recent Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I used to really like them a lot, and I mean, I guess I still do. But yeah, I was telling my friend I was going to see it, and he was like, "Dude, pick a side." Basically saying like I shouldn't be supporting these movies that are like crowding out smaller films and have been for the last 10 years. Which I understand that. Like but in my defense, I go see everything.
Yes.
Like I go to the movies once a week.
And we can attest that Michael is a cinephile.
Well, I like going to the theater, and I will try to make an effort to go once a week, if not more. And last week I was like getting out of work, and that was the one that was playing. It's like there's a line in Jackie Brown where guys go into the movies and they're like, "What are you seeing?" And he's like, "Whatever starts soon and looks good," or something.
Yeah.
And I love that idea of just going to the movies with like being like, "What should I see?" And then you just sort of pick it there. But yeah, it was actually really good.
Okay.
I mean, I think comic book movies like can be still very good. I mean, this for the 36th film in a franchise was actually very original, and I was very much entertained.
Is this the one with like Florence Pugh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like really, she's great. She's like really carries the movie. I don't think she like ever does a bad performance. I think she's in movies that don't always work, but like she's always doing a great job.
7. What's your latest fixation?
It's kind of like an old fixation that has come back, and it's like learning a language. Because I was a language major in college and undergrad, and kind of in preparation for ANSI, but also just because I miss learning a language, I started to study French like a couple months ago, and I just like forgot how much I enjoy that. Like, I don't know, there's something very logical about learning a language that I really like, that like taps into some part of my brain that like loves the like puzzle of figuring out what a sentence says and figuring out the best way to translate it. So yeah, I've been like working a little bit of French into my daily routine, and I was like, yeah, I forgot how much I really like this process.
Yeah. I keep meaning to go back to Duolingo for French too. Are you learning before going?
Yeah, I started my first lesson in Duolingo for French. Yeah, I learned something like Julie baby. That's what I know right now.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Nice. We're all practicing French.
Yeah,
I have a document of like like sentences that I want to be able to say like about our film and stuff. I'll share it with you.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I love that.
But it's gonna be one of those things where it's like you say something and then someone responds to you and back, and then you don't know you're not prepared for that.
Yeah.
You're like, oh shoot, wait, I didn't plan for this to be a conversation.
Yeah.
But I know Spanish and Italian, and I can figure out the construction. Like, I can read French pretty well already, like basic stuff. I don't know if I could read like Dumas, but I can, but I can read, basic like prose. But I haven't been doing Duolingo. I feel like Duolingo. Do you guys like it?
I love it.
You do?
Aww.
Do you find it like? I guess because of the way I have to learn, it doesn't work for me very well, because I need to like get down to the root and like the structure of it and like the actual grammatic constructions. So for me, it's always like it's almost like too slow in a way.
Yeah. I feel like Duolingo just like ask you to practice every day, like while you practice, and then you memorize all the words a little bit. Yeah. So just like by practice, like you memorize.
You've been doing like what, Japanese?
Japanese, yeah. This is my 185 days.
185?
Yes.
Wow.
186.
Wow. I was just talking about this with my dad today because, as you know, we're working on our Italian citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
And if my mom gets it, I get it automatically. But if my mom gets it, my dad has to like actually take a test. Like he has to go through more hoops than like we do. So he's been doing Duolingo consistently. And he was just like, he's like, I'm doing it, but like, I don't really know, and I agree with you that I think it's like good for just like learning maybe like words that you can then like recognize. But then in terms of like, oh, could I go out and like have a conversation with somebody? Probably not. Or understand somebody. But then something that I was reminded of this week that I really want to like actually hone in on more, because I do think this is a way for me to learn a language. Maybe like last year, there's like certain French musicians and Italian musicians that I like really love. And I got like, I'm like, oh, I would like to know what the songs mean. And I was like, I feel like that would be a good way to actually also like learn the language, because I feel like I'm really good at remembering lyrics. Like music does something, you know?
And it's so, you hear it so often because you listen to songs so often.
Yeah. And you can like, I feel like you can help like attach meaning by like how they're singing and stuff. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's so rich. So like, there's just certain songs that I like kind of just like really dug into to learn the meaning of and like attach the words to the words and everything. But then, whatever, I moved on from those songs. But then I've started listening to those songs again, just like by coincidence. I'm like, I think I learned stuff that like stuck. I feel like there's just certain words now that I like know because of these songs.
Yeah.
So I think I want to like do that more.
Who do you listen to?
Right now, I'm really into Mina, Italian. French, Jacques Brel.
Nice.
Jacques Brel.
Nice. But yeah, I did the same thing last week with there's Francois Hardy. She has that song Tous les garçons, like, and I was like, I want to know what this is about, because it's like sung pretty slow, that I was like, I could maybe learn how to add that to a list of songs I wish I wrote. Because I was like trying to sing it and learn it on the guitar. But I was like, I'm actually going to try to translate the lyrics myself and then cross.
Oh, good idea. Yeah.
But you know what really helps, or has helped me, and it's helped me learn Spanish, is, I mean, you guys probably don't watch DVDs like I do, but you can do it without DVDs. You can do it on like any streaming service. If you can change the language, the subtitles to that language, so like put on a show with French subtitles,
right,
you're just still hearing it in English or whatever language you're watching it in, but you're just seeing the words up there. And it's like conversational words, because it's usually just dialogue. You kind of just like in an hour you're just seeing like the same, like similar phrases all the time. It doesn't help with the pronunciation, but you're still just like absorbing vocabulary. I did that learning Spanish, and I was watching 24, the show 24, which is like the most addictive show. And I just like knew all the words for like terrorism and like like anything having to do with counterintelligence. Because it was like 24 episodes, an hour long. And I would just had Spanish subtitles on, and I was like watching the show, but at the same time I was like, I'm learning Spanish too at the same time.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's a helpful way to add stuff in.
For sure.
But yeah.
So Shay, what's your fixation?
I want to say Duolingo, but like, since we already answered that,
we're all like, it's because we're roommates now. We're all like thinking about the same things.
I feel like Duolingo, they just have things just like ask you to do it every day, because like you already been this stage like 100 200 days, and then you don't want to break it. It's not like every day you have only one task. You also have like 3 different other missions, and then while you complete that missions, you can get a trophy for the month. So I want to get all of that. Now like I'm a really big collector.
So I never get what they're always like, do you want to use these things, like these, like you got 3 new emerald gems, and I'm like, what are these? I don't I just want to learn a language. Just trying to
you just want to have the word of the month, so you just keep working on the tasks. So before, you just need to do like one session, just take a minute. Now you have to do 30 minutes to complete the daily quest.
Do you pay for the like?
I got the annual membership.
Oh, nice. Well, no, it does speed it up because
Yes.
whenever I've done it, like there's so
Yeah.
many ads and it like
Yeah.
makes you watch
Yeah.
them.
Mhm.
And then when you lose your lives, then you're kind of like done for the day. What Duolingo does have going for it is the little characters in the animations.
Yeah.
It's so adorable.
I can't wait till
actually.
like somebody that we know like starts
Works for
working
them,
there.
yeah.
Because they are good. 8. What were you like in high school?
I studied in Orange County in high school, so like every year I was kind of like different. Like the first year I was like really new to America. Like I was like 14 years old and speak no English. Yeah, so I do had a really hard time like while I study for my freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I also that's like a complete new environment for me.
Yeah.
I live in a host family. Like, yeah. So I don't know how you feel about this, but like living in a family as a stranger is really, weird. Yeah. But anyway, I went to that stage and then finally improved my English. And then my sophomore year, junior year, I started getting better at my academic, made some friends. So that was a really fun time.
So were you staying with a host family the whole time?
Yeah, I stayed with this family for a year and then I switched to a different family for the rest 3 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they had like that kind of a situation for years that you could stay with people.
Yeah, it's like kind of like a host family system.
Yeah.
So like all the family collaborate with the school international department.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
yeah, a lot of my friends are in the same situation as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Were you like artsy?
Yeah, for the first year, I picked some like art classes, and then at the end of the semester of class, my teacher was saying like, you should apply for AP art. I was like, oh my
Oh.
god, really? Yeah, so that's definitely motivated me to do
Yeah.
more arts.
Did you do sports?
Yeah, I did. But after I did sports, I realized I'm really bad at sports. Yeah, like for my first year, I did track and field.
Mhm.
I always the last one. Yeah, and the second year, I was playing some basketball because it's just like imagination of me playing, showing off in the basketball court. But the reality is like I'm really bad at it, and I really couldn't understand the rules.
Yeah, I think basketball is so hard to play
Oh,
personally.
sorry. I
hard.
think it's the most like athletic sport.
Yeah.
It requires the most like raw athleticism.
Just like the idea that like you constantly have to be dribbling and
Mhm.
you're also trying to like think about running and jumping and like all like I don't know, there's just like it's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
there's a
I
lot
like
going
also have
on.
to be dribbling
Yeah.
while I'm thinking about all these other
And there's
strategic
9
things.
other people around you.
Yeah.
and which other people what's happened to them.
Yeah.
And that's so hard. Also, I think there's
a bunch of artists sitting around. Basketball's so hard. Just like, you have to dribble the ball and walk.
Don't be preposterous.
I think there's once I was in the game and then somebody just passed me a ball. I don't know what they're thinking about, but passing me a ball, and then I just started to shoot. And
Yeah.
that is our basket.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, my teammates was like really mad at me because I'm shooting my own basket.
What was like the vibe of your friend group?
It's like really interesting because like first of all my friends are really rich. Yeah. So when I'm hanging out with them, it's basically just like going to a really luxury mall and shopping. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just like going behind them and then see all these luxury stores. Yeah. I
Mhm.
think there's one of my friends, she spent $5,000 a day for
God.
for some luxury bags. And that's the vibe of my friends during that period. Yeah.
You were like luxury mall rat adjacent. Orange County.
You might have been on Laguna Beach. You don't even know.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends live in Laguna Beach. Yeah.
You should. I think the show is available to stream somewhere because Lauren was watching it during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She was like,
I was watching it too,
Yeah.
I think. And it's high schoolers. It's about high schoolers.
Yeah.
So maybe we're on the show. We should rewatch.
well, I think this was way before she was in
And
high
we
school.
we
This was
see
like
Shay.
early
Yeah,
2000s.
no, it was. You see Shay though, just like
Just
in the
behind
background.
them as they're buying all their luxury bags.
Yes. Aw.
I was, constantly changing like
Mhm,
my identity or trying to figure out my identity.
mhm.
I kind of feel like who I was going into high school is closer to who I am now. Like I had to journey many years to get back to like that authentic version of myself. Because when I started high school, I was like very sure of myself and like knew I wanted to like filmmaker and an animator. And I almost like wanted to be a weird outcast because a lot of like my heroes were like weird outcasts. They'd talk about how they didn't fit in high school. And I was like, almost like didn't work. Like people were like, hey, cool. Yeah, you're into weird stuff. Like people were like accepting of that. I don't know how to say because I feel like there are a lot of people that like struggle with fitting in. And it like,
Yeah.
I almost felt like I did despite my efforts to be weird or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's almost like that. There's a Simpsons episode where the town forms a football team and they're getting ready for practice. And then like you hear Lisa's voice and she's like, what position am I going to play? And everyone turns and she's like, that's right. A girl wants to play football. And then Flanders is the coach and he's like, oh, that's great. We have 3 already. And like, she thought she was being like so different. And then they were like, no, it's great.
Yeah.
That's sort of how it was, I feel like. But yeah, I kind of got away from being like that confident version of myself that I was going into high school and sort of like everybody got pretty self-conscious and, obsessed with like girls and, like trying to be cool and fit in. And I feel like I changed a lot over then, like had different phases where it's like 1 year I wanted to be John Lennon and then the next year Bob Dylan and then or like Jack Kerouac. And then that kind of extended into college even. But yeah, I think I'm very similar to how I was beginning of high school right now. Into the same kind of stuff, wiser, but but yeah, like at that level of like assurance about myself. Yeah.
Okay, 9. What made you want to be an animator?
I was like really influenced by the Japanese anime when I was a kid. Like my mission of the day on a break day is like watch 220 episodes of Detective Conan.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my goal. Yeah, so I watched a lot of Japanese animes in my childhood, and I was like, oh my god, I just love this kind of stuff. Yeah, but I don't consider myself as an animator because I don't really animate.
Yeah, you're in animation.
Yes,
Yes, I define it broadly on this show.
So that's I think like story and then character like you can like put yourself into a different world is like really interesting. So yeah, I just love the aesthetic of the animation stuffs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like I think like when I was a kid, I just like watched a lot of films. Then now, like I watched a lot of films because like I don't like to play out. Like I don't like going out. So yeah, I just like stay at home and then watch a lot of films. And then I feel like film and animation influenced me a lot in childhood. So I didn't study animation when in college, but I know like I wanted to make art and wanted to make something cool. So that's why I applied to MFA, and then I think I have a game portfolio kind of because like I feel like game is also something really interesting, but I'm really bad at coding, so I cannot make it on my own. So studying here, and then I realized that I can create something using the knowledge I know, like modeling and then doing some like curves in Blender or Maya is something I can do. So I think that's something really interesting, and then I definitely wanted to keep doing.
I kind of think it's the first thing I wanted to be when I was a kid, because I used to watch Looney Tunes on TNT, I think, or TBS before going to school in the morning, like while I was eating breakfast. And I didn't really have a sense when those were made. I just like, they were on TV. So I figured like, this is what's being made right now. Like I didn't know they were from like the 40s or anything, but I just think would watch those, and I just like loved how anarchic they were, even as like this is when I was like 6 or 7, and became like so into Warner Brothers as like a Warner Brothers Animation as like a company. Or we had this mall that had a Warner Brothers store inside it, and I like got these like pencils that had all the Looney Tunes on them, and I would just like bring them to school and draw everywhere. And then I feel like I was very into that and was like actively trying to like learn about animation. I remember seeing like a behind the scenes thing of like an animator flipping the paper and, you know, the character coming to life and being like, oh my God, that's like magic. That's real magic. And then I just kind of like over the years between then and now, like kept coming back to it, even if I gravitated away from it. So like when I first started getting really into like wanting to be a live action filmmaker, I got really into like Tim Burton movies because I loved horror movies. And I remember finding out that he had started as an animator, and I was like, oh, well, if I want to be a good live action filmmaker, I have to first be an animator, because that's what Tim Burton did. So
this was when you were wanting to be Tim Burton in
yes.
high school.
Not even high school, like 7th or 8th grade. So yeah, I was simultaneously just like always interested in live action and animation. And then after college, I didn't study either in college because I studied English and Spanish, as I said, because I was just always kind of trying to find ways into stories, whether it be through animation or film or like writing, like literature and stuff. But then I was working at a PBS station doing documentaries, and they had somebody come in and teach us After Effects for like 2 days. And I just like immediately latched onto it and just started like unprovoked making little like interstitial animated commercials for the station. Just really simple stuff, just like moving images around. But I was just like, forgot how much I loved that. And then I eventually got back to it during the pandemic. And then that's what brought me to MFACA.
What do you think it was about the pandemic?
So I think at that time I was pretty burnt out with the work. I was working in the live action film industry, like in production. So I was mostly doing logistics, and I was like getting very burnt out. And I had all these like creative interests, but I wasn't really doing much with them at the time. And I was trying to write a lot. So I was like, okay, this is the one thing I can do on my own, and nobody can like I don't need anybody else. I can just write. I don't need to like assemble a crew. So when the pandemic happened and I stayed in New York, I suddenly had like all the time in the world, and I was like, I can do all of my interests. And that was like play music and write stories. And then it started to include drawing. And I was like, I haven't drawn in so many years, but I really miss doing it. And I would like make a little schedule, kind of like you said about like watching 2 episodes or something. I'd be like, okay, from this time to this time, I'm going to play bass. And from this time to this time, I'm going to write. Mm-hmm. And from this time to this time, I'm going to draw. And then like, if I do those 3 things for those hours, I can do whatever else I want for the rest of the day. And writing was like pulling teeth. Like I realized I don't actually love the act of writing. I just love like telling a story. Mm. But then the like drawing, I would just do that for like hours. I would stay up till like 3 a.m. just like illustrating stuff and really get into it. And then that gave way into like wanting to learn how to like make these images move, animate. And I started taking CE classes, continuing education classes at SVA. Mm-hmm. So it was sort of like this realization. I was like, I've given all the time in the world to do whatever I want. Like I can't go out in the world because nothing's open. I can't work because my job was shut down. And it's like, here, you can do whatever you want for all day long. Mm-hmm. And the one thing I gravitated towards was like visual arts. And so I was like, oh, maybe it's not the writing part that I love. Mm. That was sort of like a wake up call to me that I was like, I think I'm more of a visual thinker. Mm-hmm. And sort of that like instinct, that like pull towards animation that I had as a kid was sort of like where I'm kind of meant to go.
Yeah. I think that happened to a lot of people during the pandemic. Just like clarity of like, oh, actually, I don't like what I'm currently doing, and I'd rather be doing this.
Yeah.
10. What is the first work of art of any kind that had a meaningful impact on you as a child?
I mean, it's probably that Looney Tunes. Like that's the first thing that got me wanting to make stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
in kindergarten. So my parents sent me to the after school interest class, you know. Mm-hmm. So as a drawing class, I think I really enjoyed it. And then at the end of the class, end of the semester, my drawing got awards.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
I got a trophy or something. And then like everybody's like complimenting me, saying like, how good, like you're so good at drawing and stuff. So yeah, I think that's motivated me.
So it was your own artwork.
Yes.
That made a meaningful impact.
I inspired myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
It was like the positive affirmation of being like, I enjoyed doing this, but then also people liked it. Yeah. It's
Yeah, I feel
powerful.
like that sort of stuff young can really like make a big difference. You know, if like one person tells you that something's really good, or like one organization or school or something, you're like, that's my thing. I'm good.
Yeah.
It's the feedbacks.
Yeah.
11. When did you feel most discouraged about pursuing your creative path?
For me, it was probably sometime like after I moved to New York. So I came from Denver, where I worked at a PBS station, and I was like, did really well out there. Like, became a documentary producer, and then came here with like that confidence.
Emmy award winning.
Yeah.
Documentary
So I was like,
producer.
all right, it's time for me to move to the big city. And I came here and like, but I was trying to get into live action narrative stuff, not documentary. So I started working, like I didn't have trouble finding work as a PA, and then kind of moved up very quickly, but along a path I didn't necessarily want to be along, but I just like would say yes to every job because who knows what it could lead to. And I got to a point where I was like working as assistant production coordinator, or maybe it was just a production secretary. And I was just working so many hours and so far from like what I wanted to be doing, but also so close to it because I was working on these shows, but not doing anything that was like fulfilling. And I had an opportunity to work at a translation company, not doing the translation, but like facilitating translations. And it was like a 9 to 5. And I would just be going into like Murray Hill every day. And that I was like, okay, why don't I just do that? Because I'm like not satisfied with working in the film industry and the role that I was doing. And this opportunity came up and I went through all the interviews. I kind of went through it just to see if I could get hired because I was like never had to market myself outside of the film industry. And I got the job, and like my second day on was like the day Trump got elected in 2016. It was just like, I remember going to the subway that day. It was just like a dark mood in the city. And just like my first day working there, I like got in the elevator and like went up to like the 13th floor or whatever. I don't think they have 13 floors. Felt like the 13th floor.
That's hysterical.
But like some skyscraper like right near the Empire State Building. And I was like, I've made a terrible mistake. Like I knew right away that I was like not meant to be in that world.
Yeah.
And like very quickly resolved to just like quit right away. And like it's like it never happened. Like those I made no contacts with anybody there, made no friends. A few of the like guys that work there wanted to do like a guys' night out and like go out for like margaritas or something.
Yeah.
Or beers. I don't know. And I was like
margaritas.
And I was like so not into it because I knew I was leaving, and I was like, I don't like we shouldn't establish any relationship because and never had any communication with anybody that worked there since I left. It's really like it never happened. Yeah. But I came back to film after that, but with the kind of a resolve of like, I'll work for many months of the year and then take some time off and like really try to make my own stuff happen. And that's kind of how I started like writing again and, you know, making things. Like I made a podcast, like not like this kind of podcast, but a scripted like radio drama podcast. And I was just trying to find ways to tell stories. And then, you know, I was still working in a role I didn't want to be in, but I was at least like making an actual effort to kind of have my own creative pursuits. And then that brings us back to the pandemic.
It was like after I graduated from college, and then I was preparing my portfolios for like master degrees, and I was in an institution learning the art stuffs, and then I'm not really good at it at that moment. And then the teacher was just like so mean, saying like, you cannot just make the art makes you happy. You had to make something industrial standard so you can get into the school. So like he will just like put a lot of pressure on me, and then like keep saying like, kind of like what I call like pickup artists saying like, I'm not good enough, you have to try harder. So yeah, I was like, okay, because I just started learning how to drawing, learn how to do character designs, and then I feel like at that moment my drawing is okay. I mean, I'm happy about it, but like he was just saying like, it's not good. Yeah. No school gonna accept you. Ugh. I was like, okay. Then at that moment, I started to question myself. Like, am I really that bad at drawings and stuff like that? But yeah. But anyway, I fired that teacher.
Yeah.
Later.
Wait,
Yeah.
what do you mean? Like, is he not working, like teaching anymore?
I mean, it's like I decided not to work with that teacher.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were just like, I'm firing you.
I fire you. Yes, I don't want to work with
firing
you
you
anymore.
from my life.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so I quit that. So I didn't went to that institution and then started to work on my portfolio on myself and applied school on myself.
Yeah.
So I got accepted. Thank you.
Look at you now. You're a master.
Yes.
You got your film in Annecy.
Yeah.
You're on a podcast.
Yeah.
Number one animation podcast.
Yes.
What's his name?
I don't remember actually.
Well, whoever you are, you can
Whoever
suck it.
you are. Yeah.
12. What character from an animation do you relate to the most?
My gut knee-jerk reaction to this, and not to make it about Tim Burton again, but it's probably Jack Skellington. Only because that idea of like trying to be good at something and then failing at it is so relatable to me, and like being so earnest about something and having the best intentions, and it's met with literal like confusion and then like aggression. I don't know. It's such a odd story for what I think is, marketed as a children's movie. Like it's such an odd, it's something you don't really see grappled with, this idea of like wanting to change your lot in life and how that gets confronted.
For me, I think like when I was a kid, I always like dreamed to be the main character. But now like when I grow up, I think now I'm more related to the villains a little bit. I don't know, like for example in Pink Panthers, like the villains like just like keep like working on stuff, and the panther just like keep ruining it. Yeah, I feel the stress of like being a lab worker and then being distracted stuff. Yeah. So I feel like after I start working, I know like how difficult things could be, and then somebody started ruining my stuff, and I was just like,
you see how easy it is to become villainous.
Yes.
Wait, so who would you say in something like Roadrunner and Coyote, or who do you relate to more?
Now definitely is a coyote.
You relate to Coyote.
Yeah.
I think me too. And I kind of don't like Roadrunner. He's a dick.
Like, it's like so mean.
But like, he is. But like Coyote's the one that's actually trying to like, he's the aggressor, but you're still, he's the sympathetic one.
What about Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd?
Same.
Really?
I think Bugs is kind of, because I'm more sympathetic to Elmer Fudd because he's like very earnestly trying to.
He's just trying to feed his family.
Yeah, right. And maybe I've told you this before, but do you know my Sid defense from Toy Story?
Oh. Yes.
Do you know, have I told you this? Like, I wrote a paper in college about this. Somebody tweeted something about this like a few years ago, and I was like, damn it, that's my take.
Aww.
And I wrote a whole paper about this, and they wrote
stole my
take. Well, I did find it cited in a book once. Somebody found it on the internet, and then it was like cited in a book about childhood.
Your writing.
Yeah. Because the whole thesis was that Sid from Toy Story is like not a villain at all, and he's like does nothing wrong at all during the course of that whole movie. Like, he gets the toys in a grab machine that he paid to use. For all he knows, those toys were supposed to be in there. He is really, really creative with his toys. Like, he takes the toys apart and like blows them up and makes new toys. He has no idea these toys can talk and have feelings, and that's the toys' fault. They had never like let anybody know this. So for him, they're just pieces of plastic, and he's just like being real creative and living up in his room. It almost seems like he has a difficult home life. I think his dad is like sitting there passed out with a bunch of cans of beer.
Mm-hmm.
He bullies his sister, but like that's pretty common brother-sister thing. It's like nothing he does at any point is actually pretty evil, and they drive him insane. They like terrorize him and talk, and then he goes nuts. And I always thought Andy kind of sucked because he literally was like the biggest consumerist ever. He was like got every single Buzz Lightyear piece of memorabilia.
Mm-hmm.
The peak of his creativity is writing like general store on the side of a box. Meanwhile, Sid was like experimenting with pyrotechnics at a very young age.
Devil's advocate. Isn't it like with toys similar to like animals and children that like it's like a good sign if children have like a kind of caring relationship to their toys, and it's like a bad sign if they don't and they like destroy their toys. Doesn't it like, isn't that like a, like, I think like child psychology, I think, like, isn't that a thing?
I guess, but if you're like at the level that Sid was at, where you're like actively like,
You're like, he was a
creating new
genius.
toys,
It doesn't matter.
I mean, like, he took like the baby's head and put it on like one of those like Connect spider things. Like it wasn't just like he was smashing them over a table.
Crazy scientist.
Yeah. He was like using like little fireworks and stuff. Like he wasn't just destroying them for destruction's sake. I think he was like genuinely like a creative mind that, like, if nurtured well, yeah, now he's probably going to turn into a serial killer because he like was like vilified for it. But I think if someone took that like creative energy that he had and was like, hey, you're really like, you have a good mind for engineering. You're pretty creative. Like you could probably get into a good, art program or whatever.
He just needed a mentor like Michael in his
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
big brother's big sister
Yeah, somebody
situation
stand on his side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sid. In solidarity with Sid. I stand with Sid.
I stand with Sid. That's funny. I like that. 13. Which animator do you most admire?
Probably, I mean, it sounds basic, but like someone like Ray Harryhausen or like a stop motion pioneer, Carol Zeman. I love animation and I watch a lot of animation, but more influenced by like live action. And that's when you start to discover Ray Harryhausen and you see these films like Beast from 20,000 Fathoms and like Jason and the Argonauts and all these movies where he does like employs live action, stop motion into live action settings. And I just thought that like that still has such a great quality to it that is definitely lost today because most things are CGI'd. But seeing that marriage of live action and stop motion in such like a tactile way was like had such a strong effect on me as a kid. Yeah. And then from like, from a, as like a pure animator or from a purely animation sort of hero, it's like someone like Norman McLaren, like the Canadian guy, in terms of just like total inventiveness. I always found so cool.
I want to say is like influenced me the most is the director of Naruto.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I forgot how to pronounce his name in English, but yeah, he's like really good and really great at storytelling. And then he's like, I will say like he's a comic artist, but like his visual is like really impactful.
Mhm.
And then about all the fight and stuffs, yeah. Also, like he just like built really great characters. Yeah, like everybody has their own personalities and then their characteristics.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
14. What's your favorite animation festival?
Oh.
For now, because like I only been to animation festival this year's, so
Yeah.
I will say it's Walla Walla Movie Crush.
Knew it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it could be any festival, not just animation.
Oh, yes.
Well, Annecy would be the animation one, but it's
Purely
also the only one that I
animation.
think I've been to because I didn't get to go to Ottawa this year, and you couldn't go either. I mean, Movie Cross was so much fun.
Yeah.
And I know Christy talked about it in her episode, but yeah, I mean, it was just like a little summer or a little like retreat for filmmakers and film lovers, and
Mhm.
everyone was sort of like together the whole weekend.
Mhm.
I highly recommend that.
Yeah. Hope I get to
Yeah.
go eventually.
But Woodstock was really fun too.
Yeah.
It was a very fun
Mhm,
festival.
Yeah.
We all went together to
We did.
Woodstock. That was so fun. We had a road trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Proper road trip. And it was peak leaf peeping season,
Yeah, it
which
was
was
really
exciting.
the best weekend to be up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really nice. That was like, it was so much fun.
I know.
It was so much fun.
I wish you could have stayed for the whole weekend.
I know.
But-
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Woodstock's good. I think I want to like keep going.
To even just drive up for like the animation screenings,
Yeah. Yeah. Let's make a tradition of going.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
15. What's your favorite feature animation?
So it's a like film like we watched in Woodstock Film Festival. It's called Flow.
Yeah.
Oh, good
Flow.
one. Nice.
Yeah. It was like
This little known.
Yeah.
Now it's an Oscar winner.
Yes. Like, yeah. It's just like really incredible. Like, first of all, they did everything in Blender.
Yeah.
Blender, my favorite 3D software.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, like, I think they just like narrate the story so well.
Mhm.
So like you didn't see any dialogues, but like you understand every single thing they pressed.
Yeah.
They tell. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful movie.
Very original too,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
also at the same time, like very, I don't know, universal.
For sure.
I feel like similar story, you will definitely see similar stories, but like this story, like what Flo like presented is just like really unique and then really different.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of similar movies. Homeward Bound.
Oh yeah. I thought that too. Don't those animals talk?
Yes.
But their lips don't move.
They talk with their lips, which I like.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
I always, because it was kind of a toss up for our generation when there was animals talking in movies if they were gonna have them with their mouths moving or not. And I always was like, no, not moving.
Yeah. It was a movie about two dogs and a cat trying to get back home.
Like I forget how they get lost.
Yeah, they just
but
get separated from their family.
Maybe they move. The family moves and like somehow they get confused. I think they think they're getting left behind.
Yeah.
So then they're like, we have to escape and get back to our family. But then it's like they're just getting boarded to be eventually like moved into the home. I loved those.
I feel like there was a few other. There's a lot of like dog movies back then. Oh, you know what one of the things that was going to be my like work of art that really influenced you was, did you ever watch Wishbone?
Yes.
So that had such a big impact on my life.
Yeah. No, I loved
Wishbone was the show in the 90s on PBS about, it was like a very literate dog. And he would basically, in a half hour, they would tell two stories. One was this dog in a classic novel, like acting as one of the main characters of a classic novel. And then the other was the real life story of his owner, which kind of paralleled that story of the classic novel. So it was like this little Jack Russell Terrier in like Victorian garb, like playing Oliver Twist or playing like Sherlock Holmes or playing, I don't know, Dracula or something. But I remember my friend called me because I was so obsessed with dogs at this time. And he called me and he was like, it was like 4 p.m. after school, and he was like, turn on channel 12, there's like a dog wearing clothes talking, he's like running around interacting with humans. And I was like, what? And I turned the TV on and like I did not know what I was watching, but then like it kind of got me interested in the books that they were talking about. So I was like a little 9-year-old reading like Charles Dickens after that. And I really think there's a direct line from Wishbone to like me becoming an English major.
Wow.
So yeah. They need to put more erudite animals in TV shows to get kids to read.
I agree. For some reason, there's a line from that show that like is burned into my skull and like it's coming up like now. He's in one of those scenes and he's like, read my lips. And then he's like, wait, I don't have any lips.
I think I remember that. But yeah, this was a dog that his lips wouldn't move, but he had a voice.
Yeah.
Like you knew he was talking.
Yeah.
Favorite animated film?
Feature.
I mean, probably Nightmare Before Christmas, just because that's like visually it had such a big impact on me. There's still nothing that really looks like that or feels like that movie, you know, which I think, and when they made it, it's like such an achievement, you know.
16. What's your favorite short animation?
Well, mine would be the one I mentioned earlier, Drift. Yeah. By Levi Stoops.
I just suddenly forgot.
Is it something that we'd know if you like described it?
Didn't you share that one about the teeth?
Yeah, the teeth. It's called. I mean,
is that it?
That one is really good, but well, yeah, the teeth. I can't think about.
Well, we were in a class and everyone had to share an animated short, like it was an animation culture, and I remember the one Shay shared because it was like so literally visceral. Is that what's it called? Teeth?
The teeth. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know who it's by?
Just like so bad at names, but I can send it to you.
We'll put it in the comments.
Yeah, I'll put it in the comments. The teeth. Yeah, it's a story about like a person who is just like really obsessed of his teeth, and then the entire film is a close up of his teeth.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And he's like he's like trying to like make the perfect set of teeth for like biting through meat and stuff. And so like it's really, really like ugh.
Yeah.
Also, I think that just like through the narrative, like you know what this person thinks about goal driven to get this like perfect teeth, and then should I spoil it a little bit?
Sure.
Yeah. After like he finally got his teeth, and then he bite his tongue. I mean, it's not like he just want to get this perfect teeth, but he want to use his perfect teeth to eat food.
Yeah.
And then So he think like use this like perfect teeth, the sharpest teeth to eat food will make the food better, or like or something. And then after he got this perfect teeth, and then he bit his tongue off. So he lost another important thing of him. His
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like really powerful image. Make you like a little bit disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, yeah, that story definitely tells like the things he wanted to tell, like give us the audience the feelings of he wanted you feel. Yeah.
17. What's something you think's overrated?
Marvel's movie.
Oh, what? Shots fired.
Cut it. Cut it. I mean, like, because personally, I'm not a Marvel's fan. So every time, but I will still watch the films every time they release it. But like, I feel like recently the film just gets similar and similar.
You're over it.
Yeah.
I like how you were like, I'll still watch every single one they put out.
Yeah, but I'm not a fan. Yeah, just for fun. Yeah.
Yeah. To be part of the cultural conversation.
Yeah, I mean, they've kind of made it like a lot of work, which is, I mean, kind of like, I don't watch all the TV shows that they make. It's just too much to keep up with. But I like comic books a lot, so it's nice to see like that sort of format in a film sense where there's like a shared universe with interconnected characters. I think they've actually like mimicked that really well. But I agree. I think like it's like 1 in every 5 films of theirs is good. One, I actually thought about this last night because I was watching something. I think I was watching Andor, actually, the Star Wars show. And I'm kind of like, whenever in shows or movies now, it's more common in shows where it's like the character falls and gets like knocked out, and then it like cuts to them as like a kid, and then it's like, oh, now here's where we learn about them as a kid.
Yeah.
At almost every time that they do these flashbacks, I'm always just like, oh, God, can we just stay in the main timeline? Like, I think like the overuse of like flashbacks and cutting back to like different periods of people's life, I get it. It can be really effective a lot of times, but more often than not, I kind of find myself being like, can we just keep going linearly a little? Like, I think it's gotten overused.
Yeah, no, I don't like it either.
I find it takes me out of the story too much, and it doesn't often tell you enough that like you can't kind of get through other narrative devices. But
I feel like when they flash back to them as like a kid, like I don't connect with like the kid at all. Not because like just it's like it's a different person. Like I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
It's like that I can't buy into.
Yeah. I don't know. I love a good like straightforward story, and it can disrupt the flow for me when they do that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I feel like sometimes it just like the director just give you like a giant piece of things and just force you to eat it.
Yeah.
That's something.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you do feel uncomfortable eat it because it's just like so awkward-ish, and I'd rather just like hear your background story from other people's words.
Okay. 18. What's something you think is underrated?
Terrestrial radio.
What's that?
Radio. Just you have to clarify. Like real FM, AM radio.
Yeah.
I just think it's such a cool. I mean, this I guess is on brand with my DVD affinity, but I mean, I used to work in radio. I used to like live radio, like in the booth with the DJs, and I love that there is someone kind of like handpicking music and being like, hey, I think you might like this song. Like if this is, and you know what the DJs often play, and you can kind of trust their taste. And, algorithms do that now, but like the algorithms aren't really challenging you. They're just like, you like this, so you're going to like this. And then you like that other one that the algorithm recommended. Well, now you're going to like, it's like you're getting recommendations based off recommendations from algorithms. Whereas with like a live human picking out songs and maybe hearing a song from someone else or going to a show and finding out about a band and being like, this one's a little weird, but I might play that. You might like this one. I just like, I've discovered so many new bands and artists just from like WFUV, the Fordham radio station, or FMU in New Jersey. Yeah, I just think it's such a cool that you can just get it from any, like for $10 or however cheap a radio is. You can just like turn to so many different dials. I don't understand how. I have no idea how that works. Like
Yeah.
that, how is that? That's insane that you can just be
Yeah.
like, turn it this way and you get this sound. Turn it this way and you get this.
Yeah.
Like,
No, that's weird.
I love it though. I think it's so cool. I love driving like long distance and like picking up a new radio station and one starts to come in and then you learn about where you are based on the radio stations. My friend turned me on to this thing. We actually made an episode of our podcast kind of about it. But like, have you ever heard of number stations? They're like these radio stations that like, it's kind of like a mystery, but like it'll just be someone saying numbers like 24, 37, 39. And they think it's like for field agents, for like intelligence agents, where they have like a code book and that person on the radio is saying the code and only those people that have the sheet, the number sheet can like, I forget what they're called, but like they can decode it from there. And it's like basically like you can't hack that because it's just set over the airways and you have to have the code sheet on the other end. So it's like still in use.
That's cool. Yeah.
Kind of want to say animator.
Aw.
Yeah. Because I feel like, like people like spend so much money on the film industry. And then I feel like animator can create a lot of good things, but the category is like different. But I think sometimes animation can express so much more than, I have a question. Is animation count as a film?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
right?
think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I feel like some people will think animation is just for kids, but I think animation is a different way to tell a story. Just a different way to tell a story, and then it can impact a lot of different things than live action films. Yeah. So I think animators can change the world.
Yes. Agreed.
100%.
Okay, this is your surprise question. A proper surprise. 19. What are you most looking forward to experiencing at Annecy this year? And a little bit different because, Shay, it's your first time going. Michael, it's your second time going. So
for me, just like to experiencing the vibe first and then meet a lot of people. And then also I think like Annecy is like the biggest animation festival.
For sure.
I don't think I've been to an animation festival yet. So I think the vibe is gonna be really different. Yeah. Also, like, of course, going to different blocks and then see all animation films for a couple days and then, get inspired.
There's a film that I really want to see called like I Am Frankelda.
Oh.
That's made by these two brothers from Mexico. And I saw their like work in progress 2 years ago there. And they have a show on HBO Max. It's all stop motion, very like kind of horror aesthetic, and each episode's just like a different like kind of spooky little story. So this is their feature film featuring the character from it. So I'm kind of excited to see that. Yeah. And I'm just excited. I mean, last time I was there, I didn't have a film like under my belt to even like show people or talk. I was just there like as a student and just being like, now I'm excited to be able to be like, yes, I have a film here. Watch it.
Yeah.
But also just being in that mountain air.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it.
20. What's your most life-defining decision?
Going to MFA CA.
No.
Yeah, probably that. I mean, because that was a career pivot for me. Like taking the step to stop what I was doing and like go into debt and evaporate my savings and but no, I don't regret it at all. And I really feel like it's felt like what I should have been doing my whole life. But,
The classmates was like so supportive.
Yeah.
So I think like while like collaborating with them and then I just like become more confident about the work I do. Also like in such an environment, like everybody is motivated to creating the things they like. It's definitely also like motivating me and then push me to create more and more stuffs. I think that's what's like really helpful for me to become a better artist. Yeah.
21. Are you spiritual? I mean, Michael's already maybe answered.
I don't know. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not in any religions, but I do believe there is spiritual spirit in the world. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I respect for them.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I'm not really in any religions. Yeah.
Mhm.
I studied in a Catholic high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I know a lot of like Catholic and Christian stuffs, but
Mhm.
also like I believe like in my family we have a little bit influenced by the Taoism.
Mm.
Yeah. So I believe them, but I am not like spiritually, religiously believe them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. I would say no, but I think Jasper said it. Like, I'm superstitious too.
Uh-huh.
Like, okay, so a couple weeks ago, my mom sent me the palms from Palm Sunday. Do you
Uh-huh.
do this? You know, so like there are these things you get from mass, and
Mhm.
you're supposed to put it in your wallet all year, and it's supposed to like bring prosperity or resources. And you're supposed to burn the one that you had in your wallet the whole year.
Mhm.
And like, I'm not religious, and all science would point to that not being like a logical thing, but like I've seen enough movies to be like, if I just like get this from my mom and drop it in the trash, like the camera in the movie of my life is gonna like zoom in on that, and I'm gonna like walk out the door, and then some bad luck's gonna hit me. Like
Yeah.
like I don't say like I'll be right back, like from horror movies. Like
Yeah.
I always sort of feel like my superstition is based on just like, don't be a character in a movie.
Yeah.
Like I look for like symbolism in my life the way I
Yeah.
would look for it in a film or a book.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like I love ghost stories. I love hearing about ghost stories. And
Yeah.
when someone tells you like an unexplained mystery, you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
But I'm also just like, no, that's unexplained. So there's any attempt to explain it is, I think, wrong.
Mm.
I guess like agnostic would be the best term, but
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like I'm Catholic still culturally. Like
Mhm.
that's something you'll never shed. Like I'm
Mhm.
just gonna always have that Catholic stank on me. But no, I pretty like pro science these days, and I, again, like you said, not that they have to be mutually exclusive, but I don't know.
22. What would you say to yourself 5 years from now?
Yes, to my future self.
To your future self, which we'll have a record of.
I think I would say that it's weird. It's almost the same thing you would tell your past self, where it's like, I would just say, remember to enjoy like the moment you're in, because you're going to be nostalgic for this, which is weird to say that I'm going to be nostalgic for this time, because it's like,
because I hate being on this podcast.
No. Like this point in human history,
Yes.
like this point in our country's history,
Yeah.
like it's an endless anxiety ridden roller coaster every day. But
Yeah.
like, you're always nostalgic for things like, and even you'll romanticize it. And
Yeah.
I feel like I've kind of been able to tap into that and be like, my way of being more in the present is like, you're gonna be nostalgic for this at some point in your life, so enjoy it now,
Mhm. Yeah.
And I think I would just tell myself from 5 years in the future, like, make sure you're still enjoying the present
Yeah.
best you can.
I want to tell my future self, was it?
Yeah.
I hope you are rich enough to get a house now.
You better be rich.
You better be rich. Yeah, work harder. Yeah. Yeah, but like I do want to have a more stable life, like too, because like for my past 10 years, I don't really have a stable house to live in. So every years, it's like you have to moving and move out. So I hope in the future I can find a place that I really wanted to live, and then start to settle down, and then get a house. Also hope you can enjoy the work you chosen. Yeah, don't stress out. If stress out, quit the job. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good advice. 23. What do you consider your greatest achievement?
Graduate.
That's a big achievement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I'm the first graduation student. Kids in my family.
Wow.
So I believe that counts. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
This moment, one of the moments I'm most proud of is this. I feel like this is sort of like Jasper's, where it's like a small thing.
Yeah.
Jasper's was like, he parked a car really well, and someone said, I like the way you parked it. Yeah.
Number one parking.
Yeah. When I was in high school, like I said, I took Latin, and I'd kind of realized junior year that I really liked it. So I wanted to take the AP Virgil class. And I remember asking the teacher who taught it, who was like this brilliant, like really scholarly old Latin teacher. And I was like, I want to take this class, but I actually don't have the GPA for this AP class. And he was just like, your willingness to learn is like half the battle. And he just like signed the paper and let me take the class.
Oh.
Like he's basically like, if you're interested in learning it, then why should I stop you?
Yeah.
So I took this class and it was like really hard. And like I was consistently getting like C pluses for every semester. And like everyone else in the class was like Ivy League bound 4.0 students. And I was just there because I wanted to be there.
Yeah.
And I was getting like C pluses. I think by like the third semester, I had like brought that up to a B. But there was what was called like the National Latin Exam, which was like 40 questions and like any Latin student in the country could take it. And everyone in the class took it. And 2 weeks later, the teacher was like reading the scores and he was like, bronze, these 3 students with 33 out of 40. And then like silver, these 2 students with 36 out of 40. And gold, 38 out of 40, these 2 students. And then I was like, yeah, of course I didn't get one. And I wasn't expecting to. And then he was like, and then highest score, magna cum laude, with like 39 out of 40, Michael Dondero. And like a bunch of students turned around and like looked at me shocked. I got the highest score on this test. And yeah, it was like a very encouraging, it was kind of like that where a teacher like inspires you. And like, where I was like, oh wait, I'm good at this.
Yeah.
And then my scores like went up after that too. I was like motivated to do better. And then as like a footnote to that story, the next year I was taking Latin again. And this I was like supercharged and I was like doing really well and like getting A's on every test. And there was a huge cheating scandal at my high school that year. Like a kid stole a bunch of tests and sold them. And he ended up getting caught and expelled. But one of them was in this Latin class that I was in. And I got like 102 because there was extra credit on this test. And that was one of the tests that got sold. So the teacher made anybody that got like suspicious looking scores retake the test, including me. And I got like 102 again. And I was like, yeah.
That's
so yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I feel proud about those 2 Latin tests.
That's good.
You know.
Well, it also sounds like it was a turning point in like kind of figuring out something that you wanted to kind of pursue more long term.
Yeah, definitely like made me feel like I was good at learning languages. And I was like, it was like a switch went off. In a way. Yeah.
Similar to Shay's artwork.
Yeah.
All right. 24.
Wow.
What do you want to plug?
Nostril.
Yeah.
Nostril.
Go find it at a festival if it's playing.
See it at Annecy.
Yes.
And also please follow our Instagram, Nostril Films.
Nostril Film, yes. And I want to plug NPR and PBS because they're like getting defunded right now. And I really have a soft spot for both of them because I used to work for them, but I also think they're a really important part of our culture and our country. And they do a really valuable service. So donate to NPR and PBS.
The Animator's Friend is recorded and edited by India Lombardi-Bello with facilities provided in part by the SVA MFA Computer Arts Department. Music by Cloutmeyer. Design by Sawyer Rippon. Special thanks to Mick Bello and Lisa Lombardi-Bello. Multidalt and Sarah Schmidt for all of the support. And Intel and Darren Santamaria.